I died choking on my own blood, the taste of betrayal as sharp as the knife twisting in my gut. My husband Jack's face hovered above me, his eyes cold as the winter rain pounding the garage roof, whispering, "You should have stayed out of it, Everly." And then, in a flash that burned hotter than hellfire, I was back, gasping awake in our king-sized bed, sheets tangled around me like a noose, the alarm clock blinking 2:17 a.m., exactly 3 months before that midnight blade ended my world. My heart hammered like a jackrabbit on meth, sweat soaking through my tank top as I bolted upright, the familiar creak of our old Craftsman house in Seattle's Fremont neighborhood grounding me. Jack snored beside me, oblivious, his broad shoulders rising and falling under the duvet we'd picked out during that weekend getaway to the San Juans. God, he looked so innocent in sleep. The lines of his IT consultant face softened, not a hint of the monster who'd carved me open for a quick buck and a quicker lay. But I knew. I remembered every goddamn detail. The affair with his boss's trophy wife, the embezzlement scheme they'd cooked up using my family's trust fund, the way they'd staged my suicide to cash in on the life insurance. I'd uncovered it all too late, tailing him to that garage rendezvous, and paid with my life. This wasn't a dream. This was a do-over, a cosmic middle finger to fate, and I wasn't wasting it. My hands trembled as I slipped from bed, bare feet silent on the hardwood, padding to the bathroom mirror. There I was, 32, auburn hair mussed, green eyes fierce with a fire that hadn't burned out. Everly Harper, soon to be Everly goddamn Voss again if I played my cards right. No, screw that. This time, Jack Voss would be the one bleeding out his secrets. The first light of dawn crept through the blinds as I brewed coffee in our open-plan kitchen, the Puget Sound fog rolling in like a bad omen outside the floor-to-ceiling windows. Jack shuffled in at 7, yawning, planting a kiss on my neck that made my skin crawl. "Morning, babe. Rough night. You look like you saw a ghost." I forced a laugh, handing him his black mug, 2 sugars, no cream, just how the bastard liked it. Just one of those dreams. You know, the kind where you're falling forever. Falling into your arms, right before you push me off the edge. We chatted about nothing, his upcoming conference in Vegas, my freelance graphic design gigs, as if this were any other Tuesday. But my mind raced, cataloging every red flag I'd ignored before. The late-night work calls, the sudden interest in my inheritance from Dad's logging fortune, the way he'd started locking his phone with a passcode that wasn't our anniversary. By noon, I was in my home office, the laptop humming as I pulled up old emails, bank statements, anything I could access without tipping him off. The trust fund was ironclad, but Jack had been sniffing around it since we married 5 years ago, playing the devoted hubby while siphoning off bits here and there for investments. I'd let it slide, chalking it up to marital blind spots. Not anymore. I needed proof, leverage, a way to dismantle his house of cards before he built the one that buried me. That evening, over takeout Thai from the spot on Aurora Avenue, I tested the waters. "Hey, Jack, remember that financial advisor you mentioned? The one from your firm? Maybe we should chat with him about consolidating our assets." His fork paused mid-air, pad Thai dangling, and for a split second, I saw it, the flicker of calculation in his blue eyes, like a shark scenting blood. "Sure, Ev, whatever you think." He smiled, that boyish grin that had hooked me at the University of Washington alumni mixer. But I knew better now. That smile hid teeth sharp enough to rend flesh. Nights blurred into a tense routine. I'd pretend to sleep, listening for the creak of floorboards, the soft thud of his feet descending the stairs to the garage. It started small. Once a week, he'd slip out around midnight, claiming insomnia and a need for fresh air. I'd wait 10 minutes, heart pounding, then follow, cloaked in a hoodie and sneakers, the chill of Seattle's damp autumn biting through my jeans. The first time, I crouched behind the recycling bins, peering through the slats of the side door. Jack's truck idled, headlights cutting fog like knives, but he didn't drive off. Instead, he popped the hood, fiddling with wires, his phone pressed to his ear. "Yeah, it's set. The offshore account's clean. No, she suspects nothing. Trusts me like a puppy." Laughter, low and ugly. My blood turned to ice. Who was he talking to? Not his poker buddies, that much was clear. I didn't confront him. Not yet. Revenge wasn't a sprint. It was a marathon of precision strikes. Instead, I dove deeper, hacking into his email with a password I'd guessed from his high school football jersey number. Classic Jack. Predictable as apple pie. Buried in deleted folders. Threads with Eleanor_exec at technova.com. Elena Reyes, his boss, a sleek 40-something with a reputation for climbing corporate ladders on her back. Their messages started innocuous, work flirtations, but escalated to pillow talk about our future, coded references to the package, and wire transfers to a Cayman Islands shell company. The embezzlement hit like a gut punch. Jack wasn't just cheating, he was stealing. My trust fund, Dad's legacy from decades busting ass in the Cascades, was the seed money for their Ponzi scheme, preying on desperate retirees with fake crypto investments. They'd already funneled $200,000, and the plan was to drain it dry, frame me as the reckless spender when the feds came knocking. In my past life, I'd stumbled on the ledger during a garage cleanup, confronted him, and boom, midnight blade. This time, I'd flipped the script. But secrets breed more secrets. As I pieced it together, doubts gnawed at me. Was Elena the mastermind, or just a pawn? And what about me? I'd ignored the signs for love, for the white picket fence dream we'd sold each other. Guilt twisted like barbed wire, but anger burned hotter. Jack had chosen greed over us. Now I'd choose survival over mercy. 2 weeks in, the first controversial call came. I needed an ally, someone outside our bubble. My old college roommate, Mia, a PI in Tacoma with a nose for dirt and a grudge against cheaters from her own divorce. We met at a dive bar off I-5, the kind with neon signs flickering Budweiser and peanuts crunching underfoot. Over whiskey sours, I spilled it. Not the death part, just the suspicions. Track him, Mia. Discreetly. I can't do this blind. She eyed me over her glass, sharp Latina features creased in concern. Everly, this sounds heavy. If he's dirty, you walk. Don't play vigilante. But walking wasn't an option. Not when I knew the endgame. Just get me eyes on that garage. Please. Her fee stung, $5K from my savings, but it bought peace of mind. Mia's reports trickled in. Jack meeting Elena in a Rainier Valley motel, handoffs of USB drives, late-night drives to abandoned warehouses near the port. Each photo was a dagger, him nuzzling her neck, her manicured nails on his thigh. Rage boiled, but I channeled it, forging documents to mirror his scheme, planting digital breadcrumbs that'd lead the IRS straight to their door if I pulled the trigger. Thanksgiving loomed, a farce of turkey and forced cheer with Jack's family in Bellevue. His sister, Tara, the golden child lawyer, cornered me in the kitchen while basting the bird. You okay, Ev? Jack says you've been distant. Her eyes, so like his, probed too deep. I smiled, slicing cranberries with deliberate strokes. Just work stress. You know how it is. But inside, I itched to scream. Your brother's a thief and a killer. Instead, I probed back. Hey, Tara, hypothetically, if someone was cooking books at work, you'd report it, right? Even family. She laughed, oblivious. Hell yeah. Blood's thicker than water, but not than the law. Useful info. Tara could be my unwitting ace. As November bled into December, the garage calls ramped up. Jack's insomnia cured itself on nights Elena was in town, but I'd lie awake, plotting. The decision that kept me up longest was the one that crossed every line I'd drawn in my old life. Seduction as weapon. I'd seduce Elena, turn her against him, make her spill everything on tape. It was sleazy, manipulative, a betrayal of the feminist fire I'd always carried, but survival demanded dirtier hands. In the mirror, I practiced the smile, the tilt of head, whispering lines that tasted like ash. Jack's been so distant. Tell me about you. The night it almost broke me, Jack slipped out at 11:45 p.m., the house settling into uneasy quiet. Rain lashed the windows like accusations as I counted to 600, then crept downstairs, Glock 19, my just-in-case from a self-defense class, tucked in my waistband. The garage door hummed open, and there he was, silhouetted against the workbench light, phone glowing as he paced. I froze in the shadows, breath shallow, watching him murmur. It's almost time. Once she's out of the picture, the fun's ours. Out of the picture. Me. While rose, but I held, snapping a voice memo on my phone. Proof. The first nail in his coffin. Back in bed, adrenaline crashing, I realized this rebirth wasn't mercy. It was a curse of clarity. Every touch, every "I love you" from him now felt like poison ivy, itching under my skin. But I endured, biding time, because the real storm was brewing, and Jack Voss was about to drown in it. December hit Seattle like a freight train, gray skies dumping sheets of rain that turned the streets into rivers, mirroring the flood of fury in my veins. Christmas lights twinkled mockingly from neighbor porches as I drove to my first meeting with Elena, nerves jangling like loose change in my glove box. I'd finagled it through Jack's calendar, posing as a potential client for Technova's consulting services. The office was a glass fortress in South Lake Union, all sleek lines and overpriced coffee, the kind of place where tech bros high-fived over stock options while screwing over the little guy. Elena greeted me in the lobby, all-power suit and Louboutins, her dark hair pulled into a chignon that screamed, "I eat alphas for breakfast." Up close, she was stunning. High cheekbones, full lips curved in a shark smile. "Everly Voss. Jack's mentioned you." Charming, as always. Her handshake was firm, eyes appraising me like a rival thoroughbred. We settled in a conference room with views of the Space Needle shrouded in mist. I played the part, wide-eyed freelancer seeking financial advice, dropping hints about my trust fund's untapped potential. She leaned in, perfume like expensive sin, reeling me like a mark. "Jack's lucky to have a wife with such assets. We could do wonders together." The double entendre hung, and I let it, crossing my legs to mirror hers, flashing a conspiratorial grin. "He's been so busy lately. Garage tinkering at all hours. Men and their toys, right?" Her laugh tinkled, but her eyes sharpened. Had I hit a nerve? By session's end, I'd planted the seed. "Jack mentioned a big project with you. Offshore stuff? Sounds thrilling." She waved it off, but I caught the glance at her phone, the subtle shift. Hook set. That night, Mia's update confirmed it. Elena texting Jack furiously post-meeting. Wife sniffing around. "Shut it down." Jack came home wired, slamming cabinets in the kitchen, blaming a shitty deadline. I soothed him with wine and a back rub, my touch of venomous caress, whispering, "Tell me about your day, babe." He vented, vague gripes about corporate snakes, and I filed it away, another thread in the noose. But the real unraveling started with a ghost from my past life. Detective Harlan Brooks, the cop who'd ruled my death a suicide without batting an eye. In that timeline, he'd bought Jack's crocodile tears hook, line, and sinker, closing the case in weeks. Now, I needed him doubting early. I called Mia. "Dig on Brooks. Anything dirty." Her report landed like a bomb. Brooks and Jack went way back. Frat brothers at UW, shared tailgates and keggers. No bribes on record, but favors? A blind eye to Jack's old DUIs, a consulting gig that smelled like payoff. Corruption in the badge. The controversial play, anonymous tips to internal affairs, laced with just enough truth to spark an audit without fingering me. It was a gamble, stir the pot, hope the alligators ate each other. As holidays ramped up, the facade cracked. Our annual ugly sweater party at the house, fairy lights strung over evergreen garlands, spiked eggnog flowing, became my battlefield. Elena showed, uninvited but bold, clinging to Jack's arm like kudzu. I played hostess, circulating with a tray of bourbon balls, catching snippets. Her murmur in his ear, his nod toward the garage. Later, he said, loud enough for me to hear. Mid-party, with guests laughing over charades in the living room, I slipped out, keying the side door silent as a whisper. The garage smelled of oil and deceit, tools scattered like clues in a bad noir flick. Jack's workbench drawer, unlocked, arrogance incarnate, yielded a burner phone, its screen cracked but alive. Text to Elena. Everly's getting nosy. Accident soon. Insurance doubles if it's tragic. My vision tunneled, the room spinning like a carousel from hell. Tragic. The word he'd used in my dying moments. Fingers numb, I forwarded the chain to my secure email, then pocketed the phone. Footsteps. Jack's laugh echoing from the house. I bolted, heart slamming, rejoining the party with cheeks flushed from the cold. Elena eyed me across the room, suspicion brewing. Later, cornered by the tree, she purred. Enjoying the holidays, Everly? Jack says you're traditional. Code for, stay in your lane, bitch. I clinked her glass, voice honeyed venom. Oh, I adapt. Survival of the fittest, right? Her smile faltered, and I pressed. That offshore thing sounds risky. Ever worry about loose ends? She paled, excusing herself to the powder room. Jack followed minutes later, the two vanishing toward the backyard. I didn't tail them. Mia's drone feed caught the kiss, heated and hurried under the patio heater. New Year's Eve sealed my resolve. We rang in 2026 at a rooftop bar in Belltown, champagne flutes clinking amid fireworks exploding over Elliott Bay. Jack proposed a toast to new beginnings, his eyes on Elena across the crowd, her red dress a slash of betrayal. I drank deep, the bubbles bitter, then excused myself to the ladies' lounge. There, in the marble echo, I made the call that'd haunt me, dialing Harlan Brooks from a blocked number, voice distorted through Mia's app. Detective, check Voss's finances. Embezzlement. Garage has proof. Click. The fallout hit fast. Brooks called Jack the next morning, routine inquiry. Jack paced our bedroom, phone on speaker by accident, my feigned shower hiding my eavesdrop. What the fuck, Harlan? I paid you for cover. Panic laced his voice, the mask slipping. He smashed the burner, shards skittering across the floor like broken promises. That afternoon, alone, I confronted the mirror again. My eyes, once soft with trust, now held a stranger's steel. The decisions piling up. Blackmailing Elena with affair pics Mia had snapped, forcing her to flip, staging a break-in to plant IRS bait in Jack's files. Even considering poison in his scotch, quick and clean. Each whispered monster, but the old Everly was dead. This one, she thrived on the edge. Elena's desperation peaked mid-January. She cornered me at a coffee shop near Pike Place, the market's fishmongers hollering in the background. We need to talk. About Jack. Rain drizzled on the awning as she slid into my booth. Makeup flawless, but eyes red-rimmed. He's losing it. The feds are circling. If he goes down, he drags us all. Us. The slip confirmed it. She was in deep, but cracking. I sipped my latte casual. Then sing, Elena. Testify. Or I send your hubby the videos. Board member's wife, right? Messy divorce. Her gasp was theatrical, but the plea was real. You wouldn't. Fine, meet me tonight. Garage. Midnight. I'll bring the ledger. Trap or truth. My gut screamed both. But I agreed, texting Mia, backup. Armed. As dusk fell, snow flurrying unexpectedly, a Seattle rarity, Jack announced a late meeting. He kissed my forehead, the lie reeking. Love you, Ev. The door clicked shut, and I armed up, recorder in bra, pepper spray in pocket, resolve like Kevlar. Midnight approached, the clock ticking like a bomb. I slipped into the garage first, hiding behind tool racks, the air thick with motor oil and menace. Headlights pierced the gloom, Elena's Audi purring to a stop. She emerged, heels clicking, a manila envelope clutched like a lifeline. Everly? It's me. Her voice echoed, tentative. I stepped out, shadows cloaking half my face. Envelope. Now. She tossed it, trembling. Everything. Transfers, accomplices. Jack's the brains, but Brooks. He's dirty as hell. Accomplices. Plural. My mind reeled. Who else? Before I could press, tires screeched. Jack's truck barreled in, blocking the door, his face a mask of rage under the dome light. You stupid bitch, he snarled at Elena, then turned to me, gun glinting in his fist, the same .38 from my nightmares. Everly. Knew you were too smart for your own good. Time fractured. Elena lunged for the envelope. Jack fired. Pop pop. Her body crumpling, blood pooling dark on concrete. No, not again. I dove, Glock barking twice, center mass. He staggered, eyes wide in shock, but fired wild, bullet grazing my shoulder, fire blooming hot. We grappled, rolling in oil slicks, his weight pinning me, breath hot on my neck. Why couldn't you just die right the first time? He hissed, hands clawing for the gun. Because second chances are for fighters, you son of a bitch. I need him, twisted free, and fired point blank. The shot echoed, deafening, his body slumping heavy against mine. Sirens wailed distant, Mia, bless her. I crawled to Elena, pulse thready under my fingers. Harlan. Tell them about Harlan, she gasped, eyes glazing. I will. I lied because truths like that, they bury deeper. Cops swarmed, Mia's statement painting me the hero, self-defense, evidence everywhere. The ledger spilled it all, millions siphoned, victims' names in red ink, Brooks's cut wired to a Florida alias. By dawn, headlines screamed, Tech exec's deadly affair ends in bloodshed. My face blurred in the grainy shot. But as medics stitched my wound in the ER, the twist hit like aftershock. A final text on Jack's phone, time-stamped hours before. From Tara, cleanup ready. Fund transfer confirmed. Love you, bro. Sister, the real puppeteer, using Jack as frontman, her law degree shielding the empire. Betrayal's blade twisted anew. February's chill clung to Seattle like regret, the city buried under a rare snow that muffled the world but amplified the chaos in my head. Hospital discharge papers crinkled in my purse as I drove to the station, shoulder bandaged, soul scarred. The ledger burned a hole in my glove compartment. Names, dates, Tara's signature buried in legalese footnotes. Jack's death was ruled justified. Elena's a tragic crossfire, but Brooks? He lawyered up fast, suspended pending investigation. The feds swooped in, raiding Technova, freezing assets. Victims crawled out of the woodwork, widows from Spokane, vets from Tacoma, demanding justice. I played the grieving widow on TV, CNN's Seattle affiliate airing my tear-streaked interview from our front porch, fairy lights still dangling like nooses. I had no idea. I lied, voice cracking just right. He was my world. Inside, triumph warred with nausea. Jack was gone, but Tara? She slithered free, issuing a statement from her Bellevue firm. Devastated by my brother's actions. Full cooperation with authorities. Cooperation, my ass. Mia's taps caught her shredding files, wiring remnants to overseas kin. The controversial pivot, go public, torture career, or go nuclear, frame her for the embezzlement's crown jewel, a $2 million slush fund tied to his senator's campaign. It'd mean perjuring myself, suborning evidence, crossing into felon territory. The old Everly would have recoiled. This one? She weighed the scales and chose fire. We met at a neutral spot, a vegan cafe in Capitol Hill, the kind with exposed brick and kombucha on tap. Tara arrived in Chanel, blonde bob impeccable, extending arms for a hug I sidestepped. Everly, darling, how are you holding up? Her eyes, Jack's eyes, scanned for weakness. Coffee. I slid her a mug, black, no cream. Her ritual, gleaned from family Thanksgivings. We small-talked eulogies, the funeral a week prior where she'd eulogized him as the brother who taught me loyalty. Gag. Then, the hook. Tara, the ledger. It mentions you. Signatures on the transfers. Her spoon clattered, composure fracturing. Fabrication. Jack forged them, framed me to save his skin. Lies dripped like syrup, but her fidgeting screamed truth. I leaned in, voice low. I know everything. The senator, the kickbacks. Walk away from the fund, or I leak it. Your bar license? Gone. Your McMansion? Auction block. She laughed, brittle. Blackmail? From Jack's little mouse? You'd ruin yourself too. Accessory after the fact. Bluff called. Time for the twist. Not if I testify you masterminded it. Elena's dying words? Tara's the boss. On tape. Lie, but her Blanche sold it. Mia's editing magic had looped Elena's gasp into something damning. Tara's mask shattered. You bitch. He was weak, always was. I built this for us, for the family legacy you leached off. Ah, there it was, the venom. She'd puppeteered Jack since law school, using his charm as bait, her brains as blade. My inheritance. She'd eyed it from day one, whispering in his ear at our wedding. Secure it, or lose her. The cafe buzzed oblivious as we bartered, her confessing on recorder, me promising silence if she confessed to the feds. Plea deal, she spat. Manslaughter for Elena, fraud for the rest. You get the fund back, untouched. I nodded, pocketing the device. Deal. But cross me, and hell hath no fury. Spring thawed the snow, revealing rot beneath. Tara turned state's evidence in March, Brooks crumbling next. His plea bargain naming names up the chain, the senator resigning in scandal. Headlines hailed me, the whistleblower widow, book deals knocking, but I ghosted them all, holing up in a rented cabin on Whidbey Island, the Salish sea lapping like absolution. Mia visited weekends, her PI badge traded for real estate flips. You did it, Ev. Clean slate. We hiked mossy trails, skipping stones into the tide, but ghosts lingered, Jack's laugh in the wind, Elena's plea in the waves. One evening, porch swing creaking, she broached it. That tape. You kept it. for insurance. Truth was darker. I'd watched it obsessively, Elena's gasp morphing in my mind to accusation. Had I pulled the trigger too quick? Saved her, or damned us all? The final twist came in April, a manila envelope postmarked Bellevue. No return. Inside, Tara's confession letter, handwritten, dated from her cell. You win, Everly. But know this, Jack didn't kill you the first time. I did. He held you down. I wielded the knife. For the fund. For freedom. My vision blurred, the cabin spinning. Rebirth's cruel joke. Not just survival, but revelation. Jack, the pawn. Tara, the queen. I'd avenged the wrong betrayal. Rage reignited, but wisdom tempered it. I burned the letter in the fire pit, ashes scattering on the breeze. No more cycles. The fund, donated to victims' relief. Every cent. Mia and I started a nonprofit, Women Unchained, exposing financial abuse, our first grant from the irony of Jack's life insurance payout. Summer bloomed. Ferry rides to the mainland carrying me back to Fremont. The house sold, garage demolished in the Reno, new owners oblivious to its sins. I dated tentatively, a barista with tattoos and trust issues, nights free of shadows. But midnights still whispered. I'd wake, pulse racing, hand reaching for the Glock long gone. Reborn, yes, but scarred eternal. Revenge hadn't healed, it honed. And in America's underbelly, where dreams die in garages and rise from graves, that's the real hook. Second chances don't erase the blade. They teach you to wield one sharper. Yet, as fireworks lit the 4th over the sound, red, white, blue exploding in defiant joy, I raised a glass to the woman in the mirror. Everly Voss no more. Everly Harper, unbreakable. Breathless? Once. Stunned. Never again.